Look at this head. What is the underlying structure? It's this. This is the skull. And the skull is the underlying structure of all heads. Every single head you see has this same underlying structure. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So last week, we went over shapes, simple shapes, and then more complex shapes as being the underlying structure of everything you see in the real world. Everything in the real world can be drawn by using circles, squares, rectangles, triangles, and then the more complex shapes are spheres, which is a modified circle given dimensionality by light, the cube, which is based off of the square, having multi-sides of a square, and also you could do expand that out to make a rectangular form. The pyramid, which is based off of a square base and triangle sides, and the cylinder, which has circular top and bottom and a connecting line. Those are the basic shapes and the building blocks for everything you see in the real world. So we use those simple shapes and the more complex shapes to draw a simple heads. So we started with the circle, the center line, the eye line / eyebrow ridge, have the nose line, and the ears sit between the eyebrow ridge, eye line, and the nose to the chin, and that made 3 as a unit of measurement for the head. So from the hairline to the eyebrow ridge to the nose, and nose to the chin, 3 units of measurement. And then we also made the blocky head, just as a frame of reference, if that helps some other people in drawing a head. But today we're going to get a little bit more complex by breaking down the actual skull. I break down the skull into 5 simple features. The cranium, which is the dome that houses your brain, the eye socket, the nasal cavity, the cheekbones, and the mandible, which attaches to the skull proper. Those are the identifiers that are most used in drawing the skull. So something of note about the skull, from a 3/4 turn, there is the eyebrow ridge, eye socket, cheekbone that has an out, in, out pattern, a sort of wave form. So from the forehead to the eyebrow ridge, it comes out, then comes in towards the eye socket, and then comes out again for the cheekbone. Just an identifier of note. Now let's draw the simple head with the skull as a basis. So starting with the circle, we'll draw this as a 3/4 turn away. So we have the far side and we have the mandible. Remember, the mandible comes down into your chin. We have the center line, which is shifted. And now we have this side plane that simulates the eyebrow ridge comes in and then goes around the cheekbone towards the chin. All right, and what this does is now, like a sphere, we can give it dimensionality. All right, so there's a light source from the upper hitting and giving a highlight. So this side would be in shadow. And light gives form, dimensions. Now continuing, we have the eyebrow ridge, the eye line. Between the eye line and the chin is the nose. And from the nose to the chin is the mouth. Dots for eyes, continue with that. And we can give the nose Let's make a pyramid nose, just for some extra dimension. And for the bottom lip, there's a shadow because of our light source. The hairline is near the top, but not at the top. And behind the mandible, between the eye line and the nose line, is the ears. And of course, we have the neck. And that is our simple head. Let's make a more rectangular head now. So we'll use box forms and rectangles. So we have a rectangle for the front. We have the mandible coming down. We'll give it the eyebrow ridge and eye line. A neck. We'll give it a center line, which is off because it's at 3/4. And the ear is behind the mandible. And between the eye line and the nose line is the ears, but behind the mandible. We'll have this nose as a pyramid. So there's a shadow, dots for eyes. And between the nose and the chin is the mouth. And we have, right, that, again, that in, out, in. And with light, we can now see the planes of the head, which gives it dimensions. So the shaded side, right, if the light was hitting, it will create a highlight and a lit side of your face and a shadow side of your face. Lights help define a form. So having a light source and shadow helps to give a figure dimensionality. And the basic units of measurements for the head is the 3, from the forehead to the eye line to the nose, nose to the chin. So that was a simple head in 3/4 turn. Now, before we wrap this up, here is a simple head template that you may use for your own progression. You can take a screenshot by hitting Command-Shift-4 on a Mac. Command-Shift-4 on a Mac. And it will give you a little indicator in the corner that it has done, and you can use this whenever you wish. However, I must warn you that using a template for too long will result in same face or generic face. But this is a good way just to practice, get some reps in. It's just a tool. But don't hold on for this for too long. So let's recap the main points. The skull is the underlying shape of every human head. 2, light and shadow help define shapes. So for example, the side plane of the head, if the head is lit, will be in shadow, and that helps define the form in space. 3, the eyebrow ridge, the eye socket, and the cheekbone give an out, in, out motion. And that is an important defining feature of that region of the head. So thank you for joining me. I have been your host, Trey. And in the next video, we will go beyond simple heads and beyond simple templates for heads to draw heads au naturel. So I hope to see you then. And to wrap up, I will give you an example of drawing from this simple template and the generic heads that can come from it. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Keep shining. Bye-bye.